Hey guys, you are welcome back to another episode on the In the Meantime podcast. My name is Courage. I am your host, and I'm really excited to welcome you to this episode that is going to help you level up and help you live an intentional life. I have a very special guest with me. It's taken a while for us to get here, but Tomi is in the house, and I am so grateful that we get to sit down today to talk about the beautiful things that she's doing, creating communities, helping women build wealth, and also help them move from a place of burnout into purpose. And so, Tomi, you are welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you could make it. And we're just going to have a chilled conversation today.
Yes.
So before we get to know you a little bit more, this is an icebreaker question that I ask all my guests.
Okay.
What is one thing that you've learned this year so far, or even recently? What has life been teaching you?
That's a really good question. Life has taught me this year to be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable. And although I'm somebody that throughout my whole life I've taken risks, I feel like there's always a next level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've learned this year to put yourself in environments that you're not used to, do things that you're not used to doing, and 9 times out of 10 it'll work out.
Yeah, but that's amazing. Like doing the uncomfortable things. There's a slogan I like to go by. I'm like, pursue meaningful discomfort. That's like it's really on my Instagram bio, because I'm just like, I want to do the uncomfortable things, but I just want it to have meaning. I don't know if that makes any sense. Sometimes, because there's sometimes that we are uncomfortable with things that don't really propel growth. So I'm like, is this something that I'm supposed to be pursuing? Then I'm going to do it even if it's uncomfortable.
The alignment has to be there, right?
Has to
absolutely.
be there. Yeah, but that's amazing. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been in Dubai, and whatever you want to just let us know about you.
Okay, so yes, my name's Tomi. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I've been in Dubai since December of last year, but I actually I moved to Dubai initially in 2017. We moved back to the UK just before COVID. I am a serial entrepreneur now, I would say, because I've got multiple businesses, but my main business is in the UK. We do property. That's our main thing. But we have different businesses everywhere now. I'm passionate about business. I'm actually quite obsessed with business. It's a bit of...
That's a good obsession.
It's a good obsession. Really good, yeah, but it could be borderline. My husband gets tired of me sometimes, like having a new business every minute.
Oh, wow.
But I've realized that it's something that I'm truly passionate about. And I didn't realize that until I was in Dubai, and it's like the conversations you have, the people that you meet, you just naturally, I feel like I can see a business in everybody. Like genuinely. So I'm a child of God. I love God. God has led me back to Dubai. I actually didn't want to move back to Dubai, but I'm here, and I know why He's brought me here now.
Wow.
So I hope that's not too much of a long intro.
No, that was a good intro. But you said you now know why God has brought you here. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, why do you think He brought you back?
I just feel like in Dubai, it's a lovely place, and I feel like a lot of people come here because they are aspirational. They want more from life. And I feel like there's a different Dubai for everybody, but I feel like there are a lot of people that I've met where they've come here for one reason, to elevate themselves, and maybe they find themselves in a position where they're kind of like stuck in transition. They're not quite where they want to be. They definitely are moving there mentally, but it's a lot of the time it's a knowledge gap as to how to actually do it. How do I actually, make my dreams pay me? How do I actually not just be in the environment? Okay, I've done step 1. I've elevated my mind. I've elevated my environment, but I'm still not quite there. So I felt like there was a lot of that kind of tug of war of people in Dubai. And I guess that's what birthed me kind of doing what I do here now.
So now speaking about what you do, so that's how I actually found you, because you do events for women, like empowering women, bringing other speakers that are actually doing what those women want to do, to inspire them and teach them how to either build wealth or change their mindset and so many things. So I really actually like that, because I also do events, mostly to teach women skills that helps them to step into, the places that they want to be in, or just become the woman that they really want to be. So I really love that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just find out from you, like, what inspired that? And do you have like a personal story that inspired you to want to do that?
Yeah. If I can be honest, for me, like I said before, I've always been very business minded, very obsessed with business, and I love it. It just keeps me going, right? And it's like I love problem solving as well. So coming to Dubai, it got to a point where my personal business it didn't need me as much, to be fair. Like we've built it to a point where it's quite passive. We have staff.
Yeah,
we've got systems in place, so it's like a teenager now. My business, I always see like business is like a baby. Like I always have the analogy of like, if you've got a business idea, then you're pregnant. When you actually give birth, which is a bit painful. You've given birth to that. You've materialized it. It's gone from your mind, and so a lot of my businesses are kind of like at the stage where they need me, but they are they're systemized now, right? So I check in, I've got so I had a lot of time, coming to Dubai, and that's what sort of birthed the idea of the events. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't something that I kind of thought of on my own. It was actually God that told me to do it. It was actually very clear that God was actually instructing me to do this thing, because it was like through dreams. My husband had a few dreams. I had like 2 women that I helped with their business in the UK. They kind of sent me a message on the same day to say, Tomi, you should do an event in Dubai. Like on the same, they don't speak to each other. One of them texts me in the morning, one of them texts me in the evening. Then I had a dream, and it was just a few things that I thought, okay, God is telling me to do an event in Dubai. Clearly, I've never done events before. It's not really my thing. I just want to get my head in my business. Even social media for me was kind of like, I saw it as a distraction as opposed to something that was good, because again, I'm very much I'm on the phones, so God really clearly says, you've got to do something here. So it was through obedience that I said, okay, well, let me just put something together.
And how was your obedience journey? I love to ask this question. Did you just pick up and like, I'm going to Dubai, I'm going to do this? Or did you wrestle a little bit with it?
No, to be fair with me, I'm very proactive. Like, so if I get instructions from God, I'm very proactive. I do it straight away. Even with my businesses, like that, I feel like when I look back, I think, gosh, I didn't realize it at the time, but I'm a very reactive person. So it's the same. Like when it was clear that God's saying, do it. Okay, cool, I'll do it.
But I love that mindset, because I feel like it comes from a place of like trust and just conviction.
Right.
You're like, I'm really convicted about it and I trust God. So I'm going to just go and do it.
Right.
And He's going to bless it because He told me to do it.
Exactly.
So I love that so much. But you do talk a lot about like mindset shifts, and especially when it comes to building businesses and women truly becoming the people that they were really created to be. Because personally, I don't really believe that you're someone else. I believe that as you grow, the world taints who you were born to be. It changes your mindset, and you start looking at yourself with all these flaws, and like, I can't do this, I cannot do this. So, but I feel like a big part of growing up and stepping into yourself is just returning to the person that God actually created you to be, just returning back to creation. So, but then it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of offloading and unlearning some of the things that either the world has placed on you, or even your own limiting beliefs. So I know you talk a lot about mindset shifts and all of that. So let's just talk about a woman who is like in burnout, or someone who is really struggling to believe that they can do the things that they really want to do. How can they begin to shift their mindset and elevate themselves?
I guess my first question would be, why don't you think you can? Like, what is it? And I feel like what I've learned, having spoken to a lot of women and, mentored a lot of women, is that a lot of people have limiting beliefs that they don't even realize where they started from. And I think sometimes like they're quite subconscious. They're not conscious beliefs. And when you go even deeper, it a lot of time it roots from childhood. It could be things that, I don't know, like, maybe you've only seen your parents live a certain way. So subconsciously, that's like the benchmark in your mind. Maybe you feel like you can, maybe if you say, oh, my mum earned £3,000 a month, right? So you think, oh, maybe I'll get to 4,000 and I'm doing okay. Subconsciously, that's your environment's limited you. So everything starts from the mind. So it's like, what is stopping you from believing in yourself? And, a lot of the time as well, it's a lack of evidence, right? So if, for example, for me, I feel like I'm fearless now. I actually feel like I can walk on, I can do whatever.
Yeah.
You can drop me in Zimbabwe, I'll set up a business within 2 weeks, wherever.
I love this.
But the reason why I have that confidence is because I have evidence.
Yeah.
It's because I know that, okay, I've done this and it worked. I've done that and it worked. And I've done this. It's almost like a formula now.
Yeah.
But the only way to build evidence, you have to put yourself out there. You have to go through that painful labor, right? To get yourself out there. And that's just to build up the evidence. But the more you put off that action, the more you put off building evidence, the harder it's going to get.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, when I look at somebody, let's say like they've gone their whole life, let's just say, for example, I don't know, they've reached the age of 50 and they've never taken a risk. They've never done anything that they really wanted to do. They've just stayed in their accountancy job or whatever. It's like, like you say, that person that you were born to be is buried now. It's kind of buried.
It's buried.
So you have to kind of, it's a lot of work to shift all those mindsets. And, you know, so yeah, I would say to the woman that's kind of like really wants more, but they're unsure, is spend some time with yourself as well. Like spend some time with yourself to like dig deep and say, what is it that I'm scared of? What is it?
Yeah.
You know, and one step at a time, step at a time. Like, you know, you can't do it all at once, but you do have to make small, consistent steps.
Exactly. It's like the compound effect. You have to take a step every single day.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that people, especially in our generation where everything feels very microwaved. I know this, but I just really feel like people just want things very fast.
Quick.
Because we see reels, someone does makeup in like 30 seconds, but they didn't do it for 30 seconds actually. So it feels like everything is fast, but it's not fast. And you cannot get there overnight. I do know that everything happens over time, not overnight.
Yeah.
So we need to give ourselves grace and do it one step at a time. But then you said something which I really wanted to touch on when you talked about, you know, people not seeing enough evidence or not even having trust in themselves. Can I do this? Some people don't even have the strength to be like, I want to start. So you also talked about sometimes our environments, we've not seen that enough, or you're like, my mom was having this, so I just need one step up. I'm gonna be fine because she was fine too.
Yeah.
What can we really say to those people who haven't seen any evidence from the people around them, not just even from themselves? Because yes, they can start up, but sometimes when they've not seen anything around them that looks like a little bit of success or growth, it's so difficult for them to believe that they can. You know,
I feel like you have to be very proactive in life. You have to be a proactive person. And I feel like if you're not blessed enough to have mentors around you or people that you look up to or aspire to, then you have to seek them out. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, we're not all in an environment where it's like you've got everything in front of you. You know what I mean? So I feel like you have to seek it out. And I also feel like, I can't really articulate it, but when you know you're made for more, it's like an innate feeling.
Yeah.
You can't even really describe it. You can't even know where it comes from. But it's like, if you could have the worst environments around you, but something's been dropped in you, say, there's more for me in life. Not everybody has that feeling. Right. Yeah. And that's the thing to understand, that not everybody actually wants more, aspires for more. And that's absolutely fine. But if you know that you do, you have to push into that.
Yes, you have to act
so it's like when you have that, even if your environment's not saying a lot, but you've got that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to start hunting now. Yeah. Start hunting for your mentors, start hunting for information. We live in an information society now. Exactly. So it's like, it's not like before where it's like there was no internet and things like that. There is information out there for you so once you have it, push into that, you know.
And there's so many resources available for us, and I don't feel like we're making enough use of it, you know. Like, even if you don't find a mentor, I think I heard Stephen Bartlett say something the other day. I just loved it, because he was like, he gets a lot of messages from young people being like, I want to do this, but I don't have a mentor. I want to do this, I don't have someone holding my hand. And he was like, he didn't have a mentor, and so many successful people he knows, they didn't have mentors before. And he says it's a limiting belief, and I actually agreed with him, because I do feel like you can do a lot in life. Like, whether you have a mentor or you don't have a mentor, the internet is there. There's so many books, so many resources. Just sitting down for one coffee with someone and just like hearing what they think, that's enough for you to start. So sometimes, like, I don't want to say someone is lazy. We're not shaming anyone here. But I do think, like you said, you have to be proactive. If you know you have that seed in you, that thing is burning and it's itching, it wants to come out. It's your job to actually act on it and do something about it.
100%. It's a bit like, let's say the analogy of someone's overweight and they want to lose weight. You know you have to move more and eat less. That's it, right? okay, so one person will be like, okay, I'm going to actually take that advice and do it.
Yeah.
Note down my progress. And the other person will say, okay, maybe I need a personal trainer, right? But the outcome is the same,
It's the same,
right?
yeah.
It's just obviously you've got the accountability, you've got somebody
Yeah.
holding your hand, you've got somebody giving you guidance. So it's like, you don't need a personal trainer to lose weight. You don't need that,
you can still
right?
do it without
But it can
them.
help and support and maybe speed up certain things, but you can do it without.
Yeah.
It just depends on willpower, right? How much you want it.
Yeah. I feel like it depends on how much you want it. Yeah. If you want it enough, you go get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then you build communities a lot. And I want us to talk about that a little bit, because I do know that if you want to go far in life, you do need people around you. You need to be learning from them too, and also pouring into them. But at the same time, just having a community of like-minded, especially as women, because I don't know, like for me, I was brought up in a community where we support each other so much. So I feel like for me, as I traveled a little bit more and went to other nations and then came here, there was a lot of shock for me, because I feel like, because I was in a very creative community, people were doing multiple things and people were doing the same thing sometimes. And there was never this feeling of like, you know, competition where this one is like, I want to be better than this one. You know, I don't want to go by so it was just like a lot of community helping each other to grow and become the people that we saw ourselves as.
Yeah.
So, but then as I traveled a little bit more, people are so individualistic, and there's just this, I feel like it's a scarcity mindset. That's how I see it. And I really don't like to be around it, because I do believe that when we support each other, there's so much more that could come out of it than you just doing everything by yourself, you know? So I just want us to touch a little bit about, you know, community and even like building a business or building generational wealth. How does a community, how can a community help that, you know? Because I don't think we touch on that part even a little bit.
I think as Black, like women and Black people as well, like community is something that we lack sometimes and we suffer with. And even like when it comes to like wealth building and, you know, like I'm from the UK, right? So it's like, you know, I'm a first generation migrant. So my mum came there and then had me there. But then you have other communities, similar situation, but you know, wealth has been passed down, right? So they've built something and passed it down. But I feel like, you know, with community, it's very important. And I feel like it can elevate you, because within your community, when you've got support, moral support, encouragement, it keeps you going. And also that's why I feel like it's important as well to get people together that are like-minded. Like if you don't come from a family or you don't have a group of friends that have the same mindset, then you can easily get dragged down. And I always say, like, if you're around 4 millionaires, you'll become the fifth one. Right? So community is important. But also it's not the be all and end all. That's one thing as well that I also appreciate, because I didn't have community around me when I started my journey at all. Like I had a lot of people that were against what I was doing and saying that I was being too much, you know. So it comes down to how badly you want it, like how robust is your mindset, because you will go and seek people that will pull you up. And without me even realizing, I had mentors around me, people that I looked up to, but this was just people that I'd go for a coffee with, like you'd say, and just, you know, pick their brains or just have my little nugget for the day. So I feel like if you're advantaged enough, because it is a bonus, it is actually a privilege to be around people that think the same as you, then
but it doesn't come around that easily.
No,
I think that's what I've noticed. Like, I think because just like you, I also started a lot of things that I've done right now. I started it by myself. I learned by myself, the research, reading books, watching a lot of videos and everything, just to equip myself. And when I got to a point, I really noticed like I've been doing this by myself, and I was just like, why don't we have these communities? Why don't we have these spaces? Like if another woman is doing well, I don't think it deprives you. It's like, oh no, I'm not gonna do well because they're doing well. I feel like you guys can come together and do a collaboration or whatever it is. So I got to a point where I was like, I want to create these spaces for other women to find what I didn't have. I think it's a good idea. So now we're creating tables for other people to learn. And but like you said, it's a bonus. The major work, I think, is on us.
It is. And it's like, you know, I feel like we live in a society where everyone's like, oh, don't worry, it's okay. No, at the end of the day, life is very short. Life is short. Like, you have to get on with it. Like, you have to want it enough as well. Like, you know, we live in a society where it's like, you go on Instagram, you get a little nugget of inspiration. You get a little, listen, you shouldn't have to go on Instagram to be inspired to start your business. This is what I'm saying about the innate feeling. It's something that it's like, it's within you, right? Little nuggets of inspiration. It's not enough. It's like taking a nice drink and then feeling a little good and you go to bed, wake up, it's gonna go. So it's like, it has to be deep rooted, that why, you know. But obviously feed yourself, right? Feed yourself, you know, with these communities. But you know, what sets you apart is how deep is that why.
So what are your wealth building tips for someone, let's just say someone who doesn't know anything and they're just like starting off? What are the tips that you can give them to even start thinking about building generational wealth or getting into businesses or even thinking about investing? Because I do think that a woman having their own money is a very important thing.
It is.
And doing your own thing, however that looks like for you, it doesn't have to be like a one. It can be anything. But I do think it's something that women should think about. So what are your tips for someone who is like just early and they don't know what to do?
I would say write down what you want, first of all. Don't put it on your phone. Write it down on a piece of paper. What is it exactly that you're after? What is it? If it comes down to like a figure per month, I want to earn $10,000 a month, £10,000 a month. Okay, write it down. Okay, now get another piece of paper and say, what are your talents? What are your gifts? What is your experience? What do people say that you're great at? If somebody was to speak about you, what would they say about you? Write that all down. Write it all down. Write. And then you start to have on a piece of paper, okay, this is what I'm good at. These are my gifts and talents, and this is where I want to get to. Okay, so it's now for you to start curating, right? What can I do to monetize my knowledge, my skills, my experience? Because I feel like people underestimate what skills, experience and knowledge and gifts and talents. They just think, oh yeah, it's whatever. I speak to people and it's like, I spoke to a lady the other day and she's like, yeah, I've just been in fashion for 10 years. I've just worked for Vogue. And it's just like, what? Like you have knowledge. You have knowledge that can be monetized and can help other people. So I feel like people underestimate what they have within them. And then start one thing at a time. I'm so big on like, take it day by day with your business. Ultimately, to make a business successful, is two things that you need. You need sales, you need marketing, right? So you can have the best business. I always say like the car analogy, like if you've got a nice Lamborghini, amazing, everything shiny, engines primed, everything's ready to go, your business website, everything's amazing, right? But without sales, if you don't have to sell, you don't have to market, it's pointless. So I would say like spend a lot of time in terms of mastering sales, right? Read books on sales and how to sell people.
Which you have.
Spend a lot of time on marketing, right? Because unfortunately, the age we live in now is visibility beats credibility, unfortunately. So you have to be loud, you have to be out there with your business. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Like, it doesn't matter what you're selling, right? Because it's not about, you know, being like, you know, unfortunately somebody else sells the same thing that you do. Like, let's just face it, right? You're not going to be the first one with that business idea, but if you're the loudest, you'll make the money. So, you know, more time needs to be spent on marketing and visibility of what you're doing. You know, you don't underestimate your business out there. There is a customer for most businesses. One thing that's really good early on to identify is who is my customer as well, and also what problem am I solving? Right. So if your business solves a problem, right? It doesn't have to be like a life or death. No, of course. Like, you know, if you're selling cakes, okay, the problem that I'm solving is people that want cakes for occasions, right? So it's identify who your customer is and market to them aggressively. I always say, like, with your business, if you don't feel like you're being slightly annoying, then you're not marketing enough. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Again, it's like someone had told me every time I go online, I will see a video of you. I'm like, are you sick of me yet? Right. Just keep looking at me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so let them keep seeing you until they're like, okay, I'm going to click on it. Okay, I'm going to make an order. Okay, this is what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah, that's what the big businesses do. They do it very sophisticated, in a very sophisticated way, but they do it. So why are you not doing it for your small businesses when the big ones out there they're hounding you constantly? So why are you being so humble? Be a humble person, but do not be humble in business. Yeah.
I say there's a difference between humility and stupidity.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference, because I just feel like in many ways we dumb down some of the good things that we have in under the guise of like, I'm being humble, but you can actually do those things, and it's okay for you to be like, if someone compliments you, you're like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's if you say you divert it, doesn't mean you're more humble for doing that. Just say thank you.
Yes.
Simple, thank you. But would you say entrepreneurship is for everyone?
No. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Like, I feel like I've learned that as well. Like, not everyone's cut out for it. And that's absolutely fine, because it doesn't make sense for the world to run like that at all.
Yeah.
I feel like when you know. And that's what I've learned as well. Like, in my journey of branching out and helping people as well, I've learned that, it's not for everybody. And that's absolutely okay. You must know yourself. You must know like how bad it is. And I always go back to, what is your why?
Yeah, what is
your why? Yeah, it's got to be a little bit deeper than money. Obviously, money's the goal, financial freedom, but it does have to, because business is hard. And you're going to have a lot of times where you're in minus.
Yeah.
Like, there could even be years you're in minus. What's going to get you through that if it's only that I want a G-Wagon?
Yeah.
If that's your only goal, you're going to give up.
Yeah,
right?
you need a stronger why than the G-Wagon.
Yeah, it has to be strong. So, if you're passionate about something, you love something, or, you could do something without getting paid because the passion is there. That's an indicator of maybe that's part of your calling. Maybe that's part of the business that you're meant to be in. Because, when I see people, going on to the latest trend or crypto or stocks, it is just chasing I think, listen, it's, as a woman, I feel like men can maybe do that. They have that in them to be able to just chase the coin. But I feel like with women, there has to be some sort of underlying love, passion, talent for what you do. Yeah, for what you're doing, for you to be consistent at it. Because I can't just chase. I get exhausted. I just get a job. Just get a job. It's going to cover your bills, right? Rather than chasing the coin, you're not going to make money. You're going to get exhausted and you're going to give up. So it's like, I'd rather, with women, because I do business with my husband as well, I've learned the difference between women and men in business is that I feel like with women, there has to be some sort of underlying love, passion, talent, gift there for you to push it.
You have to actually love it for us to pursue it, in every season.
Yes.
Yeah. But I love that. I love that so much. And you talked about you have to know yourself. And I do feel like we live in a generation that is really lacking. As I think we say it so much that we don't even know what it actually is. And we are not really living like it. And so I had an episode a few weeks ago with like a personal branding coach. And she kept repeating this: get to know yourself, do the things that you need to do. So, and then I had another one. And she also said the same thing. She's a marketing expert. Everyone always comes back to, you have to know who you are. And I want to ask you now, do you have like some things that you do or you had done to get to a place where you're like, this is what Tomi likes to do. This is what she values. You got to a place where you set your foundations and they're, this is me. So what were those things that you did to get to know who you are?
Yeah, I guess I thank my 20s a lot, because in my 20s, I didn't take life too seriously. I didn't take my job too seriously. So although I was like qualified and everything, I just left my job after, I think, the first 18 months. And because I was following my heart. So people would be like, oh my gosh, you're just such a hippie. Like, you've got a job, you've got this, you've got to set up. Why would you just leave it to pursue your passions? So I feel like doing that in my 20s really helped to open my mindset of knowing who I am and what I like. So I guess what helps me is tuning into my happiness. Like, if I can't do something for free, I guess that's my thing. If I can't do something for free, then will I push it enough to make it into something that's worth it? I don't think so. Yeah. So I feel like that's an indicator for me as well. And, knowing myself as well is, I feel like business is hard, but I feel like certain doors will open for you a lot easier if you are doing what you should be doing. I feel like it's going to be like a constant struggle, a constant battle if you're just pursuing something for not the right reasons. And I feel like I've got to the point now where I know whether a business is for me or it's not for me. But I feel like, again, it comes back to the evidence thing of like, you don't know yourself if you don't put yourself in an uncomfortable environment. And even if you put yourself in a comfortable environment, it doesn't work out. That's really good, because you've learned that, okay, that's just not for me. That's not my thing. So, you have to just, there's no shortcut. You have to You
go
have
through
to.
life.
Yeah, you've got to fail a little bit.
Yes.
You've got to fail a little bit. I've had loads of failed businesses. Yeah, because it's like, I've tried this, it's not worked. I've tried other things, but you know, most entrepreneurs have got to their 10th business and they're like, yeah, this is it. You know, but it's like that thing inside them doesn't go, right? That thing inside to say, I'm made for more, I can do more. It doesn't just go like that, right? So that's why you just keep getting back on the horse, and you will find your way, right?
But I love that so much. And I think in many ways we should just never forget who we were created to be. Like, even if you keep failing, you have to keep waking up.
Yes.
You have to keep, and I feel like the fear of failure is why so many people are not starting what they need to start. Yeah. So it's like, if you're feeling like, oh no, I want to do it perfectly the first time, I think it's gonna be hard. You're not gonna start anything. You're not gonna do anything.
Yeah. It's the enemy of progress.
But aside from building businesses, what other ways? Because just looking at Dubai, so I've been here for like, let's say 7 years.
Okay.
The way things go around here is like, you find a job and that's it. And just a few people, or let's say women, are thinking about starting businesses or being coaches or just doing what, you know, they're passionate about. It's so difficult because you have to pay bills, and there's just a lot of things on the line. So they're like, I don't have the luxury of doing that. But for me, I do believe that it's all possible, even though the environment doesn't really look like that. And I'd really want us to speak into that, because I do know that there are a lot of women who want to start businesses, but they're pretty confused about it, or they want to make more income, but they're like, I don't know where to go, how to start, what else could I do? So for someone who's like, maybe I cannot start a business, what other ways can they create or generate extra income without it only being entrepreneurship or only, you know,
Yeah, I guess obviously investing, right? You can invest. Like, you know, I'm an investor. I didn't start off as an investor. I started off in business, which allowed me cash flow to invest, right? So, but if you're completely risk averse, you don't like risk, and you don't, you know, and that's absolutely fine. Then investment is the way, right? So I own a lot of properties, and that's a good way to slowly build your wealth, and it's generational wealth. Like, my kids, just from our properties, are automatic millionaires. From our properties, right? Our property, but it's not liquid, right? It's not liquid. It's all in the properties, right? So you can use your salary, and this is the good thing about leveraging your work, leveraging your salary, leveraging the steady income, because obviously when you approach a bank for a mortgage, they'll take you, as opposed to a random hippie entrepreneur. They're going to say, no, show me your accounts for a good few years first. You don't have to prove yourself as much. So leverage that, you know, the fact that you're in a job, use that to invest. You know, like, Dubai is a great place when it comes to like off plan, and you know, you can invest here and there, and start small and build up. The first property I bought was a small studio. You know, it wasn't anything like crazy, but you've got to start from somewhere. So if you're risk averse and you're not business minded, make sure you are investing your money, because you do actually have to be smart with your money as well. You can't just be living paycheck to paycheck. You know, you can have a little 25% of your salary, 20, whatever it is, give yourself 12 months, put that aside. That's your little self-development fund. That's your little fund for, you know, and start that way. And also, if you are entrepreneurial and you're in a job, and yes, you can't just be crazy. If you've got kids, you've got mortgage, you can't just be like, okay, I'm leaving it. Then I always say that you should be able to start your business in your 9 to 5. You should be able to, because that's what I did. Even though I was entrepreneurial my whole life, and I did leave my job eventually, but I also started up my side hustle whilst I was working. I just did it in the evenings, I did it on the weekends, and it worked. And I thought, okay, it was calculated risk, because I thought to myself, I remember one month I made double my salary doing my side hustle. And that was evidence. Again, it comes down to the evidence, right? To be like, oh, this thing can actually make money. Let me give it a go, right? So whatever it is you want to do and you're in a job, do it around your work. I believe that your job is your first investor. That's the way I see it. You know, so whatever money you're making from your job,
it's going
put it into exactly. And thank God you got a job. Change your mindset to your work. Like, you know, I've got a job. I'm living in an environment where I can have a job. You know, and milk your job, whatever opportunities come through, or the contacts, whatever you can do, you know.
And you're learning so much on the job that you're going to use it in your business.
Right, exactly.
And, like, just speaking into that, I feel like so many people always complain they don't have time to do that. Like, I cannot work a 9 to 5 and then I'm having a side hustle, you know, after that 9 to 5. But I do think it's possible. Like, so many of us are doing that. Like, we have a 6 to 9 after the 9 to 5.
After the 9 to 5.
You can actually do it, and you have your weekends. It just really takes intentionality. I'll be honest, it takes intentionality. How bad do you want that thing? Are you enjoying what you're doing? Like, you're going to create time for it if you're actually enjoying it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I really love that you're saying that, because I think just looking at where we live and the way Dubai is set up, I feel like so many people have given up on their dreams and they're just like building other people's dreams. And I meet a lot of women like that there's so much more to them and they want to do more, but they always have excuses, and just either they're also tired and burned out from the current job that they're in, and they just don't feel like there's something more for them. So, like, my prayer and my hope with, like, the events and everything we're doing is just to let them know that they can do it. They just need to start doing it.
Yeah. The thing is that all these people that you meet, these successful people that you meet, you're probably smarter than them. You're probably, in terms of IQ and intelligence, you're smarter than them. You're, you know, probably more educated than them. What's the difference? They just were a bit ballsy. That's all it is. It's not.
And
it's
just
not
a little bit confident too.
That's it.
Yes.
Audacity gets you really far in life. It gets you so far. Like, you know, I've been in rooms with. Well, I've met one billionaire, man. I've not met more than one billionaire. And it's like, even when he was speaking, I was thinking, oh, this is not rocket science. I was waiting to hear something that I was like, this is it. This is you know. But they're just more ballsy. They shorten the time between idea and execution. You know, when you have an idea and you're sitting on the idea, and it's like,
it's taking long for you to actually execute it.
Right. That's it. Idea. Let's try it. Okay, it's failed. Let me improve it. Let me tweak it. And that could be done in a very short amount of time. But if you're an intelligent person with an idea, and, you know, you're over analyzing in your analysis paralysis, and you know, always it's fear. It's fear just dressed up. It's fear. All that overthinking, it's fear dressed up. So, you know, you can do it I fully believe I did it myself, right? Have a 9 to 5, pursue your business, and it's a great way for you to test the market. Do people actually want this thing that I want to put out, you know?
And if it doesn't work out, the world is not going to end. I think people forget that. Like, it's going to move on. Yes, you failed, but yes, you can do another thing, try another business.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's where we should be. But you talk about burnout a lot. Have you ever experienced it in your job or one of your businesses?
Definitely, yeah. So with my salon business, so this was my first business that I made 6 figures a year. And I was so proud of myself. I was just like, wow. When I saw the numbers, I was like, wow, this is crazy. But at the same time, the sacrifice was my kids and my husband. So I got married at 24. I had my first child at 26.
Wow.
And, you know, it was very like, my 20s was very like crazy years. It was very like,
a lot of
things going on. A lot of things going on. So I was so obsessed with my business to the point where, like, I'll be there first thing in the morning, I'll be there late at night. My kids will be in nursery all day. Like, I'll drop them at 6, pick them up at 6 p.m. And they were young then, you know. So I just got to a point where I was having issues in my marriage. I was having issues with I didn't see my kids. And I just felt like, to be honest, I feel like it was a humbling that God put me through. That, you know, it became an idol, to be fair. Like, it became a massive idol. And like, the issues, I just knew God was saying, like, something needs to change. You know, and I really felt it when I had my second daughter, because I feel like with one child, you can kind of try to juggle life. But with two, it's like, okay, the reality was there that I'm not actually working smart. I'm working all hours under the sun, even though I'm working for myself, but you still need to.
There's a lot of labor there.
Right, exactly. So that was for me, like, you know, and that's when I learned. I had to go and learn how to, like, systemize my business and employ staff and delegate and not be such a control freak and trust other people, you know. But that's why I'm able to be here in Dubai now, because I went through that pain of, like, trying to do everything myself and, you know, only listen to myself and being quite prideful, to be honest, and thinking I'm the only one that can do this thing, not trusting others, you know. So
but I do feel like a lot of entrepreneurs go through that in the beginning phase, because you're like, it's like your baby, your little project. You're like, I cannot trust anyone with this. And you just, sometimes we feel like we know how to dot the I's and cross the T's by ourselves, but people can do that. I think the other day we were doing like an event and everything, and then someone was like, you have to do this, you have to do this, and then I was like, no, delegate. You're not going to be carrying everything and doing everything by yourself. No, like let other people actually want to be involved. Like if you have a team, people want to do it. They want to take up responsibility. They want to learn what you're doing. They like it. They love it. They want to also try it. So like give people space to also grow and learn from you and just try new things. So for me, I love delegation, especially when I'm working in a team. You just notice what someone is good at and you're like, you do this.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah.
But then what were some practical things that you did to, move out from burnout and maybe just get to a place where you're like, okay, I kind of figured out what I can do to avoid this in the future?
Increase my prices. That was one thing I did at first, because I was kind of like nervous of increasing prices, because I thought, oh my gosh, I've got all these clients and they're used to a certain way things are done. If I increase my price, I'm going to lose clients, but I actually got mentored myself, to be fair, when I got to that certain point in business and I felt like I hit a ceiling. I got a mentor to help me like open my brain to like, what? So, the first thing was to increase my prices, and yes, it did reduce my clientele, but at the end of the day, I was making more money and doing less. And secondly was employing staff, employing staff and allowing them to let you down as well, like allowing them to prove themselves to you, but, having a process that even if they were to let me down, I can replace them, right? I didn't have any systems. It was very much like, it's just like a wild, wild west. Whatever comes in. And, I didn't have any training systems. I didn't have any sort of just standard operating procedures that, someone can just come in, read like a manual and they can go. It was very much like labor intensive. So I feel like standard operating procedures, they call them like SOPs, incorporating that into your business is like a complete game changer, because you do loads of amazing things in your business but you don't realize, and to you it's just like normal, but these things you can document them as you're doing them, so that if somebody was to come in, like they could do it, like you're not the only person.
Easy for them to,
exactly. So you think about the big corporations, they do the same thing. Like with McDonald's, you work for McDonald's, there's a manual, there's so you need to start as you mean to go on in business and start SOPs from day one, so that you can step back ASAP and then you can work on the business. Because the thing is as well, is that you're constantly at this level, your head is like buried in a business, customer service and all this sort of stuff, but really you should be at the top of the funnel. As the business owner, your priority is sales, getting profit generating tasks. That's all you should be focus on, not actually, providing the service. You can get people in to do that. So I think that's what helped me elevate my mindset.
So it's like letting go a little bit, just letting go of the control and just finding better systems to work around everything.
And having that CEO mindset as opposed to hustler. You need to like elevate from there.
And like, because you talked about the hustling, we live in a culture like that. It's not only in Dubai, I feel like it's everywhere now. What can you say about that, like to someone who's like, I'm just gonna hustle to the end?
I think hustle is very healthy, especially in those beginning stages, because you need that to kind of get it off the ground.
Would you say it looks like a push and just a drive that nothing else can explain it?
Because people won't understand your hustle. Like when I was hustling, even my mum was like, I saw this, Tommy, calm down, like like what's going on, like calm down, is it that deep? So people won't understand your hustle, and that's okay. Like be a bit crazy. I think that's an indicator of you're made for greatness. So like if you're at work all day, then you're going in the evening to do this, and you're missing out this friend's birthday because you're doing that. That's a really healthy stage, I think, especially when you're building. But I feel like hustle can make you money. You can get to like good 10k months. Like my salon, I was hustling and I did make like 10k months, like good months. But it's the burnout. There's no balance, right? You've not got time freedom. You've not got location freedom. That's the key goal, right? So no, be a hustler, because I feel like there's also that thing now I see today's society where everybody wants things quickly, like you were saying about the micro. They don't want to go through the pain. And it's a very short time as well. When you think about it, like say you're hustling for like a year or even 2 years, when you think about your grand scheme of life, what's that? It's a very short time. And even when I look back on myself, I think that's a very short time that you're in that kind of like hustle mode, So hustle is healthy. Hustle is also necessary in the initial stages. But I feel like when you're starting to feel that burnout, then you know that it's time to outsource. Outsource. And there's so many things these days with like technology, AI, virtual assistants that you can just outsource even from day one, you know.
To make the work easier for you.
Exactly. So there's so many smarter ways to do business these days so that you can make money quickly.
But I love what you said, and I think one thing that I'd really want to encourage someone is just like find smarter ways to do the things that you need to do. Because it's not as hard as it used to be before. I feel like now we have so many tools and resources to help us make it easier for us to, whether it's invest or make businesses or whatever it is we want to do. But do you do mentorship or?
I do mentorship.
What other thing do you do?
To be honest, with me, a mentorship is something that's new. Because like I said, you know, my head was just so in my business. I didn't even have time for like anything else. But I guess naturally, when I was in business, I'd always have females around me that I'd always say, you know, do this, do that, you need to improve this, improve that, and it would work. So, you know, I always had loads of people around me saying, all my friends would be like, Tomi, you're so great in business, so great in business. And for me, I was just like, well, you know, it's just experience, you know. So coming to Dubai and having a time now, because my business are systemized now, I do have a time to help. So it's like a natural progression now to help others with their business. And I genuinely get so excited when someone says, I've got this business, I've been sitting on the idea, I just don't know how. So I get like all my family, I've got 3 sisters, and they know that I'm just like, what do you do? My little sister, she's like highly educated. She went to like Oxford, and she's like really smart. I'm just like, girl, you need to set up a business. And she gets annoyed with me because she's like, leave me alone. I just want to work, you know. So, you know, it's so nice to be able to actually help women that they're like, do you know what? I've got this idea. I don't know what to do. How do I do it? How do I monetize this?
So, but what is one thing you can tell someone who has listened to this episode today about moving from a place of like just where they are, maybe they're feeling stuck or they have all these ideas, they're not really executing it. What can you tell them as like a word of encouragement or something to nudge them from here onwards?
I would just say, you know, that feeling that you have, don't ignore it. There's a reason why you've got that feeling. And also, there's nothing wrong with failing. I feel like people have this whole big idea in their mind that it's like, oh, if it doesn't go well, people are going to laugh at me, people are going to do this, or I'm going to, you know, failing is part of the process, right? And there's no such thing as failing. You just get better. So what's the worst that can happen? If you've always wanted to set up your own, I don't know, podcast business or whatever, right? What's the worst that can happen if you do it step by step, right? Break it down. What do I actually need to do? How much money do I need? If it's finance that's holding you back, okay, so what access to finance do I have, right? My first business that I really went for, I got a loan. I'm not saying like, you know, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not saying, you know, do these sort of things, but you're almost taking a bet on yourself. Because that's what I thought, okay, it's not ideal to get a loan, but at the end of the day, I actually believe in this idea so much that I'm willing to put my credit on the line. I'm willing to put, you know, this potential financial. You are. So it's like, you know, what can you do? It's not going to be comfortable, right? You may want an investor, you may this and that. You might have to have uncomfortable conversations with your auntie and say, can you loan me that? You need to put yourself out there, right? And within your remit, you don't have to do anything crazy, but do some action towards your goals, towards your dream, just one thing. And the thing is, I always say, right, if you've got a business that you want to pursue, how many conversations are you having? How many people actually know what you're doing or what you want to do? Because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who is, you know, you have to be in the mindset of like, I'm not trying to do it, I am doing it. So speak about it, speak about what you're doing, and doors will open in that way as well. But I guess that my thing would be, what's the worst that can happen? You know, this year was quite difficult for me because I lost a friend suddenly, right, to cancer. It's fine. I mean, but it's like, it just made me really think. It reinforced life. Like, people are literally living and they're like, just living like they're going to live forever. You're literally, nobody knows tomorrow. We pray for long life, but you don't know.
And one the Bible thing does say tomorrow is not promised.
Right. And one thing that I do, right, which is a bit strange, but like, you know, I read, you know, when people are in a hospice and they're dying, right? And they always write down their regrets. And the consistent theme is, I wish I took more risk. I wish I didn't care what people thought about that's like the consistent thing. So it's like,
especially the second one. I think the second one is what causes the first one, caring what people think about.
yeah.
Then you don't take risks because you're like, they're going to judge me, they're going to look at me, they're going to point fingers.
Yeah.
But what is the worst that could happen? Even if they point fingers and they talk about you, you're still living, you're still breathing. So keep living.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you've got a deep conviction, I feel like you've got to press into that. Like, for example, with me and the events in Dubai, like, for example, I'm not an events person. It's not anything that I've done before, business wise or anything like that. But once I had that conviction that, okay, I need to do it. Okay, in my mind, I thought, okay, if I do it, nobody turns up. Okay, cool. I won't do it again then. Or maybe my marketing wasn't great enough.
Yeah.
Or maybe the venue wasn't good enough. Or maybe there's a reason. It's not just like, oh, things aren't just going to work out for the sake of not working out. It's feedback. Failure is feedback, right? So if you've put something out there, no one's buying your product. Okay, what is the reason why these people are not buying? Is my pricing not good? Is my marketing not good? Maybe my branding looks a bit shoddy. Maybe I need to, right? There's something, and I feel like you have to be have that humility in business to not critique
yourself.
Yeah. Like, if my product's not selling, then why? It's not like, oh, I'm a failure in life and it's never gonna work. Yeah, like, you have to be very like, not emotionless, but it's business and it's feedback,
How do I get better should be the mindset.
How do I get better?
Yeah.
It's like social media posting, right? There might be a post that you do and it does amazingly well, and it might be one you do and it does terrible. But you know what? That's feedback. Yes. There's something that happened in that one that people resonated with. Maybe that one not so much. Okay, so let me do more like this. And let me, it's all learning. We don't know everything as well. And that's the thing.
Does.
No, we don't. Right. So I feel like that mentality of like, I'm learning. This is feedback. This is growth. It's like a humility I think you have to have mentally.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing that. So where can people find you if they want to connect with you and just know what you're up to, what you're doing? Yeah,
so I'm on Instagram, Tomi Tieyo, and also my events page is Woman Empowered Now on Instagram as well. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Tomi Tieyo. Facebook as well, like all the social media handles, I'm there.
And you do use social media a lot, right? For
I do. YouTube as well, like YouTube.
Oh wow, okay.
I do YouTube as well. I'm not as consistent, but I'm getting there.
All of us, we're all trying
right
now. But I will have all of Tomi's links down in the description of this episode, so it's just very easy for you to click on it and connect with her. She has really valuable content and so much you can learn from. I love when you do especially content for women, because I feel like I really connect with that one. So it's very inspiring to see other women, lifting other women up and also inspire them to want to build wealth, because I feel like that's something that women are not paying enough attention to. So I think it's important for us to pay attention to those things and build something of our own and see where it leads us to. And you're learning, and then bring other people with you as you do it. But thank you so much for being with me today, Tomi.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And guys, I will see you next week. God bless you. Bye.